Do.
Hi, Tony Frank. How are you? Thank you for being here. How are you, Tony?
Hello.
How are we all doing?
Good. It's 5:30 or something.
That's good, right?
Good. Yes, it is.
So Tony, you want me to do introductions?
Yes, let's go around and do that. That would be
How are
great.
you doing?
Thank you for asking.
Legislators still in session now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they are.
So we'll go around the room and just introduce ourselves and give an indication of what you're part of the book.
And I'll be glad to start. I'm Tony Frank. I'm the president of Colorado State University.
Okay, this way. I am Bakala Lamma. I am from Wondoganet College of Forestry, Hawassa University, Ethiopia. I'm head of School of Natural Resources and Environmental Studies.
Welcome.
Joyce Berry, Dean of the Warner College of Natural Resources, and very excited about the project, and particularly because yesterday, Bob and Paul took 12 boxes out of our garage. It's a wonderful program. It's just a wonderful, wonderful program.
I hope there were books in them.
Yeah, I'm not taking. You always ask the best questions.
I'm Nancy Sturdivant, returned Peace Corps volunteer from Ethiopia, and happy to be part of this group.
I'm Bethlehem Afema, also a staff of Wondoganet College. I'm doing my internship at CSU, and I'm very excited to be a part of the project while I'm here.
Very good. Welcome.
I'm Bob Waltermeyer. I'm the board of directors of the Murley Foundation and also a former Peace Corps volunteer from Ethiopia.
I'm Nick Young. I'm a research associate at NREL, and I'm also the secretary for the Morelli Foundation.
My name's Heather Young, and I volunteer with the Morelli Foundation.
I'm Tedros Wake, originally from Ethiopia. I studied in Wondoganet College of Forestry. I'm now studying in the GDP department. I'm a PhD candidate, and I'm also helping with books.
I'm Swan Rose. I'm one of the service vice presidents for Alpha Phi Omega, the co-ed service fraternity on campus. It's a mouthful. And we've been helping pack up all the books and get them ready to be shipped over. So,
Thank you.
I'm Melinda Liturian, Ecosystem Science and Sustainability, and I gave some books.
And you teach.
I'm Carol Waltermeyer. I'm president of the Murley Foundation.
I'm Christina Kuroiwa, and I am a family doctor over at the Health Network, and I'm volunteer in the Murley Foundation and the book project, and whoever gets sick.
I'm Paul Evangelista. I'm with the Natural Resource Ecology Lab, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Murley Foundation.
Bob Sturdivant. I'm a book collector.
I'm Gurman Ngasha from Wondoganet College of Forestry and Natural Resources. I'm the dean of the college.
Very good. Welcome. Well, I was thinking about this evening, and it took me back to, I guess it was November, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of 2012, when we were over there on that trip, and certainly to President Mama, who couldn't be here with us on this visit, I wanted to pass along my regards, so please pass those on to him. I was very impressed by the welcome that he gave us, and it was a big part of that reminded me of both the warmth of the partnership, but the strength that's obviously there as well. Mm-hmm. And while we were there, I know that several of us were impressed with the new library building, but I think we also saw an opportunity to put things on the shelves that could be put to good use. And over those past 18 months, a number of people have worked very hard to make that happen. And so we've pulled together, I think, as I understand it right, between 13,000 and 15,000 volumes of books and journals that are sorted and and ready to arrive at the new library and be put to good use. We're very excited about that and very proud of that sort of contribution. Now, I have a list of people here that I was told that it was critically important that I thank. And I think it's everyone around this table. And I think that says something, right? I mean, projects like this don't happen by themselves, and they don't happen because one day the leader of a delegation at a place decides, well, oh, we can do something around this. They happen because people follow up with that commitment, that a whole set of people realize how important making this actually come to fruition and become a reality are, how important that is. And so to all of you, I hope that you take away my very sincere and heartfelt thanks for taking those 18 months and turning them into that idea into a reality. Certainly, Murley Foundation, the service sorority that helped package all the books, all of the people who have volunteered around this project, from the people who helped organize it to the people who have really pulled it together and have made it a reality, all of you have my very sincere thanks. I think as well, we celebrate as well as thanking people on a day like today. We celebrate what's possible through partnerships such as this one. And in celebration of that, we hope to be able to add one more book to the collection as a celebration and a symbol of the partnership and the friendship between our institutions and many of the commonalities that I think all institutions of higher education share as we try and advance the human condition and the condition of the people that we serve. So what I have here to present to you is a copy of the history of Colorado State University. We've inscribed a little dedication inside the front cover, and I hope you'll convey it to your president on my behalf and thank him for that. And we hope that it will serve as a symbol for some time of the collaboration between these institutions and how important we feel that partnership is. Thank you. I have also some CSU neckties for each of you, which I hope you'll wear proudly and enjoy. And Dean, would you like to make a few comments as well?
Yes. Thank you so much. Actually, I didn't thought that this kind of program will happen. And I'm not making myself ready for everything. But I would like to pass Dr. Yosef's greeting to you and all your staff members, as he has been already here. He has told me to just pass his greeting to you.
Very good.
And I'm very much delighted to get this book from your university, to our university, and most of the books I think will come to my college, and I'm very much glad to get these books. And I thank you all, and I thank you. I will pass your greetings to Dr. Yosef, and I'll give this book to you.
Excellent. So, would anyone else like to add comments? We appear to be being captured for posterity. Now is your opportunity.
I brought a prop, and over behind Joyce is one of the boxes
Oh,
that
excellent.
we're shipping.
Oh, that's very good.
So I wanted to show what they will soon receive. I'll put it over here.
And they've got titles and everything?
So
on it?
each box has been packed by
Gosh, you're
loving
amazing.
hands,
Yeah.
and everything's cataloged, and there's a label on each box. So when they arrive at Hawassa, they'll be able to distribute them to the different college libraries
Outstanding.
from the shipment without having to tear into the boxes.
And you all packed all of these?
Yeah, there's some very interesting photos of everybody. It definitely, I mean, to get a group of college students to do this all the time, it's not always the easiest, but our members are really, really awesome, and Bob and Nancy are two of our advisors, and so having dinner made for us every night helped a little bit too. So.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing
Yeah.
what they'll do for a home cooked dinner.
Yeah.
So we have Alpha Phi Omega service fraternity, and then we have folks from the Riley Foundation, and we call it Paul's group. It's grad students,
Absolutely.
and between those groups, we're getting them all boxed.
Amazing.
How many boxes again?
Well, we have about 300 ready, and then we have still more to box. So they keep coming. So we got to just cut it off and send it.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Anyone switching majors, looking for a career in logistics?
Boxing.
Not that I heard of.
Not that you
Or a librarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the label lists every book in the box.
Yep.
So, so that takes time,
Wow.
Wow.
so that they're all subject organized. So hopefully, I think we probably are heavy on books that'll go to Wanduganath, but we have books for all the colleges, for agriculture and
Oh, fantastic.
A lot
the
of
main
vet ed.
campus as well as
Yeah.
the referral hospital. Yeah, it's just been amazing. People love giving us their books and especially their journals. We have whole collections of journals that we're sending over, which I think will be very valuable.
And so,
I was going to say, so is the next step to start the next version, next phase of this?
what's the next phase?
If we're still at books
I
coming
think he's
in.
avoiding the question.
Never mind, we can edit that out.
The issue on the state, Colorado State University is space. If you give them the space, we can make something happen.
How many years has this been? You've been working on this a long time.
No, this shipment started this time last year. By the time we got things organized, found a place. That was the biggest issue, again, finding a place to do the sorting.
Interesting.
But Bob and Nancy have been at this longer than just for Ethiopia. I think
Well,
you-
it started as a
Right.
student group of grad students of Maury Albertsons who wanted to ship books overseas, and they started gathering them and finding money to ship them, usually from that university, 20 years ago. And when they graduated, it was hard to let it go, so Bob kept it going as long as we could find space, and we moved it from one building to another, to storage units, to, and we'd get rid of one shipment, and I'll be darned if somebody didn't come up with the idea to do another one.
We figured it was you.
Yeah.
I think about 500,000 books have been shipped out of CSU
That's amazing.
over the last 20 years.
Wow.
Vietnam, Pakistan, Argentina, Chile, Kenya, quite a few to Kenya.
What are our
Philippines.
space requirements around this? What sort of space?
We're using two labs right now. Basically, I mean, it's just you get a lot of books in random boxes. Then you have to have room for sorting. And then you have to have room for the ones that are boxed.
Mhm.
It's just it just takes a lot of space to do that.
And the area that we're in is not easy to get to.
Oh, I know. It isn't.
So, I mean, because we would be sending volunteers more often to get books packed up, and that's been a difficult thing, I know too, that, because it's a secured area, and so we can't just go whenever we want.
We're in the old
to
CBC
help.
building right now.
Oh,
So,
So it's behind
Gotcha.
a couple gates and
yeah.
Bob has the only pass.
yeah.
You don't get in without.
And that
that.
hasn't made you feel safer so much
No,
as
I
him.
was gonna say,
Totally feel safe out there at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm curious, were the boxes that we took from Joyce's garage this well labeled and organized? As well?
they will be.
They will be.
They will be.
That was very
it was
politically.
sad. That way, but I
interesting
did
thing
find
is-
some historic things in those boxes.
Somehow, well, I guess it's because Oklahoma State is working at Hawassa also. And they heard from somebody at Hawassa that we're doing the book drive. They called and said, can we donate? And on Saturday, we had a van load of books come from Oklahoma State, all philosophy. But they had it all labeled, everything ready to go, so it was really nice.
Oh.
And they brought 2 Ethiopian students with them. And
They drove those up?
They drove them up, turned around and drove home.
On Sunday.
So there's a lot of people that realize that this is a great thing to do.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And how are things at Wandagat?
It's good now. You have been there?
Yes, just once, briefly.
I hope you come again.
I would enjoy that.
It's good now.
I think everybody around this table except one person has been wanting it.
I'm that one person.
So everybody else has been wanting it.
We all should pay for your trip there.
This is
Oh,
a
I would
fixable
love
problem.
that. I would love that.
You would love it going there.
Paul, is the research going well?
It's going very well. That's why everyone around this table has been to Wandagat, because we have so much going on there. So we're still working in the Bali Mountains. Tedros has work going on as part of his PhD in the Afar region, and he's pulling in a couple of his PhD peers this time around to go with him. And then with Dr. Gurma as the new dean, we are working on coming up with some new projects between our universities. And a good number of the folks at this table will be going back next month. So we'll have not only the rest of this week to sort of discuss some plans, but we'll have more time next month to sit down with the larger faculty and see what we can come up with.
And we also have some projects other than research. We have a very successful women's microfinance program in Ethiopia. We have 90 women involved in that. We're also working on a water project, a $55,000 water project to clean up 2 springs and provide water for about 3,200 people. And then we're also working on very slowly on a project to promote a new drink made from the dropped leaves of the coffee tree. And there were actually 5 students from the Global Social and Sustainable Enterprise Program over there in 2009, and we made some progress, but we're still working on that.
Interesting. Maury would be proud of those, wouldn't he?
So the Murley Foundation, as a lot of the folks here are from, we have strong ties to CSU. And in fact, all but I think 1 or 2 are alum. And even Bob graduated here back in, well, I won't say when, but some of us are still students and some of us are still working at CSU, so we haven't left. And so there's a real strong tie not only to CSU, but the Warner College as well. And also, as Bob mentioned, the Peace Corps. So there's that strong Peace Corps component that's also part of the CSU.
How many of you, several of you mentioned that, several people here were Peace Corps?
Bob and I and Bob. Yeah.
And you plan on going back sometime?
Next month.
Well, no, I mean for a longer, I thought maybe for a longer time you wanted to do that.
Well, I think we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had no idea when we went to the Peace Corps that we would be able to come back here and continue to work on the relationship. So for us, it was just beyond our imagination. It's kind of the best scenario.
Very good.
And of course, having Bob and Nancy back here strengthened that communication and relationship we have with the Peace Corps there, which we met with Greg and Dan at the time. So we still have some CSU students over there, and Bob and Nancy followed their every move. They're still, I think they still oversee a lot of the Peace Corps folks over there, even from here.
And how has your trip been so far? When did you 2 arrive?
We arrived yesterday.
Yesterday? So what time is it for you right now?
Ethiopia?
Yeah.
It's just 1 o'clock in the morning. No, or 2. It's night time. It's just
It's 2007.
Probably 4 in the morning.
It's 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
But they had a typical flight. They got to Frankfurt and got delayed 4 hours, and then spent the night in Chicago because of that. So they got to experience Chicago a little bit. Arrived a few hours after they were supposed to, like half a day.
Was that yesterday, last night that you
Yeah,
were in
yesterday.
Chicago?
No, no,
Night before. We flew I flew out of Chicago last evening, and one of my daughters who was flying somewhere else didn't make it out. And she was telling me this morning that she met a gentleman, they were still trying to get people rebooked on the flight out this morning.
Oh.
She met a gentleman who is a retired dentist who has so far on this trip made $2,000 by allowing himself to be bumped off flights on this trip alone. There's something wrong with the airline model, right?
And they wonder why they're not making money.
Exactly. And that's in addition to the hotels, that they put this poor guy up in.
Well,
So you're not alone.
Well, they were so gracious, they still came over for dinner last night,
Oh,
even
that's
though
very
they've
nice.
been traveling for so long.
So Dr. Germa has been to the U.S. before when
Yeah,
Connecticut.
I've been to Connecticut. Yeah.
But this is your first time in Colorado for
Yes,
both of you?
first time.
So he's at University of Connecticut.
Yeah.
So he needs to get to
Oh
the
my gosh.
television to watch the final tonight.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
Actually, hopefully it'll be one at the restaurant.
Where are we going to eat this evening?
The Tush.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Dr. Bakala might say something about you stay in Wondergan, maybe.
I don't know if he wants to.
Can you tell us your experience? Nancy and Bob.
Okay, I have a few words about Nancy. Okay, while they were there, actually they have been helpful in many ways to the college. Nancy was teaching ICT also for some time, and she has been working also with the ICT group in the college. And Bob is working with the first section, and he has been editing a lot of MSc theses, and he has been also editing our manuscripts. He has been helpful in many ways, and I think now. And he was also collecting books at that time, and he has brought some books in JIS, journals also. And he has also initiated this collaboration, I think. And they have continued this way, and I'm very happy and I'm very grateful for the books you have collected with the other groups. And thank you very much.
Yeah, so
Actually,
book
that
also
is-
with Dorsey.
Oh, yeah, we wrote a bird book.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we are selling that now.
Excellent.
And they have also produced, I think Bob produced a book on birds of Undogan. It's being sold now for people coming to Undogan.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. I want to thank them here also.
So 3 days ago, I get a email from Germa, and he says, Lufthansa is on strike. And they were booked on Lufthansa. And so we were monitoring that, and the flight right before theirs was canceled. So we were really sweating it. But they did let their one go the next day. But then they delayed them in Frankfurt. At least they got out of the country.
Yeah.
We got them closer. Luckily, they got here.
So I'm getting experience. I'm getting understanding and realization that most of you here are working with Wando. I know Paul, his name, because our colleagues who's working with Paul and with Evangelista, including Dr. Yosef. But I met him now, and I didn't actually know you. I'm getting to know you now.
Bob Walter,
Yeah.
we'll be having dinner tomorrow night, I think.
It's possible we may have met before. I know once I was in Hawassa at the university and met a number of people. I unfortunately don't remember if I met you at that time, but it's possible.
So go to Joe and say, do you know somebody named Bob? And they'll say,
Yeah.
That's the Bob.
There are very few Bobs.
You remember him after all these years.
I know this one particularly from the 70s.
You know Matthews? Mateo Cersado.
Mateos?
Pardon?
Isn't it Mateos?
No.
No,
He's
okay.
the older professor who's the wildlife expert at Wandoganet. I think you might have met him just very briefly, but
Oh,
not,
okay.
not 100%. He's an amazing person.
So tell me a little bit about the history of the foundation.
Well, it was created by Paul and 2 other graduates of CSU in 1999, and I think the IRS paperwork came through in about 2000. And their immediate interest was doing research in Ethiopia, in southwestern Ethiopia to start with, and then we all got interested in the mountain nyala, which is an endangered species found only in Ethiopia. And the research has since then pretty much centered on the mountain nyala, although also the Ethiopian wolf and some others. But the foundation's been largely research centered, but as I mentioned, we have other programs working with the community. Our objective is to help communities to live sustainably in their environments and to promote that and at the same time really protect their beautiful natural resources. They have such beautiful and unique resources. A person almost has to visit there to understand how diverse that country is. Not only in its wildlife and its habitats, but its people. And the people are beautiful. So the foundation is very much involved with the human side as well as the natural resources side.
Excellent. Several of those goals are fairly universal, aren't they? I was thinking as you were speaking, we could apply many of those same goals to our own country, and those are all lessons we could all benefit from. What got you involved in starting the foundation?
Oh, wow. When I graduated here with my undergrad, I was in natural resource management, and the other 2 gentlemen, one was from range science, which we had back then, and the other was in wildlife, and we all sort of graduated at the same time and didn't really have permanent jobs, so we had this opportunity to go to Ethiopia. One of my colleagues who was graduating at the time, he was born in Ethiopia. You may know Nassos Roussos. He grew up in Addis. Jason was born over there. His mom went to school here at CSU, so he came over here. And so we were first working down in the Omo Valley, and we were doing looking at invasive species and livestock impacts. But the Omo Valley had a lot of poisonous snakes, and it was really hot. So we quickly found our way up to the mountains, and where we didn't have to worry about any of that. And I think when we came back, that certainly wasn't our intention when we went over there. We were just looking to go somewhere for 2 or 3 months, after just graduating, and we came back just very moved by the country and the people. And so when we came back, we immediately started putting this together with the help of Del Benson and a few other folks that are still around. And fortunately, I got a lab job at NREL right around then in the late 90s, so I was able to stay here. And through that work, I ran into Bob and then met his wife Carol and realized that connection was there, and it just started growing.
Interesting.
I think what Bob said about how much of our activities is centered around research, I would say a lot of that research has moved into CSU now, into the Natural Resource Ecology Lab, because the facilities, the expertise is there, and the Murley Foundation is it's still very heavily engaged, I think, in the community work at the grassroots level, and looking at things such as education and economic and gender equality, and all of these things we feel are very important for conservation, whether you're looking at a biodiversity or looking at saving the biodiversity of a particular species. And so working with the universities like Wandoganet just makes sense for the future.
How long are you here for?
We'll be here maybe for a week or 10 days.
And then will you travel elsewhere in the country, or will you go directly back to Ethiopia?
We hope we to travel within the state maybe.
They'll be traveling locally in Colorado. We have some field trips lined up to see the fire, and then to Rocky Mountain National Park. Were you going to stay in Washington?
Yeah, I would like to stay in Washington.
Your family?
I have brothers or sisters there.
Oh,
to
very
visit
good.
them for some time before.
That'll be nice. I was gonna, you're having family there explains that, because not many people want to stay in Washington.
Yeah, there are quite huge number of Ethiopians living in Washington area.
Is that right? Is it a big population center?
Yeah, big population of Ethiopians.
I think Denver's pretty
Denver, yeah.
populated.
But the highest number of Ethiopians live in DC, Washington area.
That's the highest.
Yeah.
There may be hope yet for our productivity then.
Yeah, right.
And then Bethlehem will be with us for 4 months.
Yay.
So she's finishing up her graduate degree program, and as she is here, we will also have the opportunity to further discuss ways that we can collaborate with at the departmental level as well as the student level.
Well,
He's also helping one of our PhD students who is in Ethiopia, who is working in Cameroon, studying Cameroon.
Yeah, so I'm now an affiliate faculty at the university in Cameroon. Can't wait to go there for the defense.
Well, I suppose that's the next question for all of us, right? Because from a lot of different individual beginnings, you all have done an amazing job of pulling together what's clearly a more tightly interwoven partnership. And I've just had the smallest of interactions with it, but yet have been very impressed by the commitment to the program and the possibilities around it. And I suppose that's something to spend some time thinking about for all of us, is what's the next step in that program look like? How do we continue to build on that? Because that's one, in my mind, of the hallmarks of our university, is we typically don't have an event like this and celebrate the conclusion of something. We're usually already scheming and plotting about what the next version would be. So I'll look forward to hearing more about that, and if there are things that I can do to help facilitate that and foster it, I would be happy to do so. I cannot express strongly enough my thanks to all of you for all of the hard work that you've put in, and it's my hope that the relationship between our universities continues to grow stronger in the years ahead. Please pass my regards along to your president as well.
Well, thank you for your time, Tony. Thank you very much.
And
yes.
I know.
Good to see you.
So it says, this one's 45.
I hope you get some rest this evening.
I hope to see you.
I would like to.
Having some.
Oh, thanks. Great job.
Thanks,
I appreciate it.
Good
Good to see you again.
you.